alaikum, kids. May the peace and blessings of the Most High be upon you. Y'all want to do a class for Facebook and YouTube?
Yeah.
We're going to do a quick class, or just not a class, but we're going to do a reminder. Because the reminder benefits who?
Allah.
The benefits the believer. Allah doesn't need a reminder. He is the one who reminds. All right, look. If somebody, a police or a racist person, somebody who hates you because of the color of your skin, or the amount of money you got, or your religion, if they come and try to start trouble with you, what's your first tool? What's your first weapon? Before your hands, before boxing, what's your first weapon?
Yeah,
Your thinking, that's right. So he said it, your mind, that's your first weapon. Okay? Now,
thinking where to hit him before you hit him.
well, you could think, you don't even have to hit him. You think about how you're going to get away with it by using your what? Your mouth. You got 3 things you can use to forbid wrong. And that's what you're doing, forbidding. You can use your mouth, you can use your hands, and what else?
Your feet.
You can use your heart. You know how you use your heart?
Oh, and your brain.
Nah, just 3 things. You know how you use your heart?
Yeah. No.
You hate it. You hate what he's doing. But that don't mean you gotta do nothing about it all the time. You just hate it. And you stay away from it. And you don't speak good about it. You got me? Tahi? You with me? Alright. So now, since we use our brain, the way we think, and before we start using our hands or trying to change it with our mouth, or even we hate it in our heart, we first use our brain, right? And when we use our brain, if somebody come up to you, I'm gonna tell you to use your brain, and you tell me what you would say, okay? If I come up to you and I say, turn around and look that way, don't look over here, don't look at me, what you gonna say?
Hey, why are you telling me about that? I was just looking what you was doing. Hey,
Okay.
Why you?
So what if I don't, I'm not your friend, I wanna hurt you, and I come up to you and I say that, then what you gonna say?
I'm gonna say that if you say that to me, I hate you too. Because if you say that you hate me, I will hate you too.
Now, let me tell you, you're not using your brain, because guess what? You don't know if he has a weapon. What if he has a weapon? What if he has a gun? And you don't want to get shot, right? So you gotta think, whatever you say, or whatever you do, or whatever you do in your heart, it gotta be something that's gonna end up with peace. Because what is peace? Islam. Islam is peace. So there's always a resolution, right? So
I'm Islam.
this is what you're supposed to do, Islam. When you get confronted and somebody come up to you and you know they mean bad for you, you gotta defuse the situation. Just like boxing, when somebody come at you and they big and bad and they tough and they trying to hurt you, they trying to hit you,
Like me.
what comes first?
First.
What's first?
Right.
If somebody trying to hit you, what's first?
Right.
Use your brain. But what your brain's gonna tell you to do first?
Your brain is gonna tell
Defense. Defense first, right? And then you pay him back, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta first establish defense. That's the same way when you're dealing with cops or anybody that's being racially profiling you, or anybody that's trying to hurt you in school, trying to bully you. If they mean bad for you, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Your brain is
And defense.
Yeah.
Okay? So the way you talk defensively, or you react defensively to a police officer, is if he asks you
Daddy over there.
to do something, And whatever you're gonna do is not gonna put you in a bad situation that you already in.
Dad, can we go to Walmart to get my toy, please? Hey, Daddy,
I got it. So, if an officer of the law or anybody who you feel as though are trying to start trouble with you, even a teacher in school with authority, if they feel like they starting trouble with you, then you answer the question accordingly. If they're going to put you in a position that's going to be worse than the position you're in, then you don't do that. So if they ask you a question that's going to put you in a worse position, don't answer the question. If they're going to, you try to work around it if they try to force you. But whatever you do, you got to stay on your toes and think. Just like a boxer. You're always thinking. Okay? Just because you're defensive don't mean that I can't kill you in any moment. Every time you swing at me, I'm thinking of what I can do to you. But at the same time, I'm being defensive because I don't know the future and I got to be patient and do whatever's necessary, not over-exaggerate the situation. So when you're dealing with police officers or anybody that's trying to do harm to you, you have to deal with the situation without over-exaggerating it. You got me? Are you getting me? It sound like y'all don't understand.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, if somebody trying to start trouble with you, don't answer, don't go overboard. Don't start talking about things or what you could do to them, and don't tell them you got a gun, and don't tell them that you got a stick or you're gonna get somebody to beat them up. Don't start cursing at them.
One time when you was inside the
Don't tell them, y'all want pizza?
No, I want to go to McDonald's.
Alright, hold on.
I have back to school stuff.
So y'all feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alright, so basically what we're trying to give in this message is that there's ways to deal with things. And the first line of defense is using your brain, and then your mouth, and then your hands, and then your heart. The least you could do is in your heart. But if you can't change your heart to help a situation become peaceful, then you're pathetic. You're pathetic. And whatever happens to you is a result of your own self. So you can't blame nobody else if you walking around with weed all in your system. And the way you defend yourself is always negative. And you always start off with situations, whether it's with your mouth or with your hands, or even if you hate it in your heart. Your first defense is things that's gonna make things worse. You don't have a defense that's gonna resolve in peace. That's the whole thing, man. Nobody can do anything to you but yourself. And if anybody violates you to the degree where you do exactly what you're supposed to do to the best of your ability, that's where the faith in God comes. That's with some need. You know, and if you had faith in God, you would have the best disposition from the beginning. So you wouldn't even put yourself in that position. All right, peace. One love.
Peace and
Blessings.
blessing.
Word.
Word.